Welcome to the Mind of Basketball Podcast, also known as M.O.B. Podcast, NBA Playoff Edition. I'm Evan.
I'm Ja.
And this is our basketball podcast where we recap, break down, and analyze players and teams in the playoffs from previous games from the previous day. Speaking of the previous games from the previous game, Ja, it was game 5.
Yep.
Must-win game for both teams. Big game. Chance to go ahead in the series and a chance to be one win away from going to the NBA Finals. And for both teams, both of their best players were out.
Equal matchup then at that point.
Yes, that's what you would think. No Trae Young for the Hawks and no Giannis for the Bucks. But, man, from the get-go, almost like the Hawks game in Game 4, but in reverse.
Yep.
The way the Bucks played from start to finish, man, this is what you want to see from the Bucks.
Yep. They came out in that mode of knowing who's the better talented team. That's the mindset and the ability that they came out with. Two of the best star players is out. Who has the better advantage? Who has the better team? Who has the better talent? Or who has the better flow and chemistry? Both teams that have all of those qualities, but which one has the better out of the two? And the Bucks was able to prove it in this game.
Yes, and prove it they did. I mean, this is how they should be playing. Why can't they play like this? Why can't they play like this on a nightly basis, night in and night out? This game and Game 2, why can't they play like that? Why?
I guess Giannis is the bad thing, right?
Yeah, sure.
Take him out. They start playing so much more free and live. They got more spacing. Let me stop joking. But why they can't play like this? I don't know. Well,
Mike and Ike.
You said it once. Yeah, exactly. You said it once. Making changes when there doesn't need to be changes at all. Making it at the wrong moments at the wrong times and things like that, and
not changing when you need to.
Exactly. Not really going the extra distance that's needed to take your team over the hump in terms of coaching strategy. That could probably be it. Or it's just that sometimes, as great of as talented of a team they are, they probably sometimes usually like to stay, like the specific players in terms of their roles, they like to stay within that specific box at times. And they don't really want to always go overboard because they may be scared that it may hinder the team as much as it may help the team. And you can see that when the situation like this, again, with your best player being out, how they know everything that's on the line. Now they're going to eventually basically step out that box and do whatever needs to be taken, play that free kind of game in order to see if their team could get the win. And that's why I felt like the Bucks were playing like they were playing free.
Oh, yeah, and one of the changes that Mike Budenholzer made was to have, with Giannis out, one, put in Bobby Portis to the starting lineup, and two, have Brook Lopez play more inside. And both of those, as I was saying, those changes, Bobby Portis in the starting lineup, Brook Lopez playing more inside, both those spectacular and smart coaching decisions that he went with, and it paid off. It paid off. I mean, from majority of the postseason, we've talked about Brook Lopez and how, I've talked about when he's playing down low, more in the low post, they play a lot better. He plays a lot better. Their offense runs a lot better. So that's why I don't understand why he's 40 feet away from the basket 24/7. Sure, he can space the floor. Sure, he's a nice stretch big. But when you have him in the paint more, it helps your offense more.
Well, yeah, because let's be honest, right?
This is with Giannis in the lineup.
Exactly. Brook Lopez's game is inside. If you know about his early years, you know how his years before he eventually changed up his game and moved on to different teams. He was a beast. Well, I'm not gonna say a crazy beast, but he was really good down low. Really
The
good down
greatest
low.
the
That was his
greatest
bread and
Brooklyn
butter.
net of all
Being
time.
so well and effective down low.
The greatest Brooklyn net of all time.
Okay, the greatest Brooklyn net of all time. Hey man, KD and them is coming for that label, but yes, he's the greatest Brooklyn net of all time. All right, let's not do that. That's so disrespectful. But yeah, we know his bread and butter is working down low. Don't get me wrong. He has evolved his game in a different way to adapt to the league, just like the majority, like 95% of the league. But yeah, we know how he is down low. And we know what he could do down low. And we know how much that could affect a team, well, a really good team, because like, he was on some teams that were kind of horrendous. But we know what he could do. We know what he could do down low, and we know the effects it has. And that's what it basically showed. He went to old school Brook, went to work down low, and along with that, with the team playing successful, it's just like this is like a match made in heaven right now.
When he's in the low post, yeah. Because Brook Lopez was spectacular all game, all day. He only shot 2 3-pointers, only 2, and he shot 18 field goals in total. I mean, 16 all inside the 3-point arc, and he had 33 last night. Most of that came from that paint area. I mean, he was getting there. He was getting there. He was getting his buckets because Brook Lopez is still skilled. He still can get the easy buckets inside. He still can get a floater down there. He still can get a hook shot down there. Well, not a floater, a hook shot down there.
Yeah.
Like, just it helps your offense so much, and it proved once again last night. Because not only that, and sure, yes, Giannis does clog up the paint a little bit, but you also have Bobby Portis clogging in the paint as well. And Bobby Portis was also great last night. He only shot 3 3-pointers, and he shot 20 field goals. And he had 22 points. Like, come on. Just look at what they're doing when 2 guys are both in the paint at the same time.
Well, yeah, it goes both ways, right? It attests to how great the Bucks were in terms of their front court and their interior play. And it also, as I was saying, it goes both ways, right? It goes both ways, really, right? In terms of, it speaks of how great their front court and interior presence was last night down low, but it also speaks to how bad it was for the Hawks in terms of guarding the interior and the way that it was really for them, because you have Brook Lopez and Bobby Portis. Portis eating down low all night, and like, don't get me wrong, you're trying your best, but it's just like, sometimes you have to switch it up, strategize, do something different. You cannot make them just try to outplay you in the, down in the low post all the time. Something has to be changed.
I see your point. But when has that ever been a problem? And we haven't seen that yet. It's just that Mike chooses to change up the game plan, so we never see that becomes a problem. When Giannis and Brook Lopez are both down low in the low post, they both play great still. Brook Lopez plays a lot better down there. Giannis, obviously, that's his bread and butter. And in this game, it's the same thing. Obviously, Bobby Portis is not Giannis, but he still was effective. And he was really effective. And we got to talk about Bobby Portis because he's been really great this entire series for this Bucks team. I mean, he's been hustling. He's getting good boards. He's been getting in paint. He's been playing great defense. I mean, he's been doing everything for this team.
Yeah, man. Bobby Portis, again, he's just been showing up. He's been doing all the dirty work or the little things that you need role players to do when it comes postseason time. You know what I mean? When your team needs you the most, especially when you're this deep into the playoffs where you could potentially get a ticket to the finals, you need people that even if they're not good scorers or bucket getters or whatsoever, they could do all the other things that could have a positive outcome on the game for them or give them a better advantage, such as playing defense, such as hustling, such as diving for loose balls, such as getting physical and intense and getting into the interior, going to work, getting boards. You know what I mean? All of those things, and that's what Bobby Portis was doing all day. He was being that working man, that construction worker.
Yep. And I mentioned defense, and he wasn't alone with this defense. The Bucks as a unit last night, tremendous defensively, so much better compared to Game 4. So much better. I mean, it was more aggressive.
Yeah.
I mean, there was more aware. Their help defense and their team defense was a lot better.
Yeah.
I mean, and nothing came easy for Atlanta. Atlanta really struggled, and they turned it all over. Some key situations for them, which allowed for the Bucks to get out in transition and get easy buckets. I mean, this is what I want to see more of this from that on the defensive side from this Bucks team.
Yeah, and look at again, it goes to the fact of adjustments. You know what I mean? If you look at the wins that the Hawks have gotten, those two wins that the Hawks have gotten within the series, the way they have played against the Bucks, getting just that hot and stuff like that, you know, you're not going to stop it, obviously, because it's a team game. But you got to find some way to limit that, and I think that's what the Bucks did. They know that they're not going to have Trae Young, but they know that the Hawks' ability to spread the floor whatsoever and things like that will still be effective in some sort and kind of way, and they could kill you in different ways offensively in terms of spacing out and shooting, and in terms of finding ways to take advantage of the pick and roll and get into the paint. And that's what the Bucks was doing, and that's the great communication. That comes from great communication, knowing each other, knowing spots, and reading your opponent's tendencies off of situations. And I think that's what the Bucks did really well in this game.
Also, I mean, for a lot of this game, they was just out hustling the Hawks.
Yeah.
I mean, they was getting those loose balls. They was getting those rebounds, offensive rebounds. And the Hawks was just sometimes felt like they were slow to the ball in certain moments. You know, it felt like the Bucks had a lot more energy than them.
Yeah.
And that really carried throughout. I mean, it started in that first quarter and carried throughout some parts of this game. And you can see that.
Yeah, no question.
Well, you mentioned the hustle of this Bucks team last night. Mentioned the defense. Mentioned Bobby Portis, Brook Lopez. So gotta mention Chris Middleton was great last night as well. 25, um, 25, 13, and he also had some big shots late. Every time the Hawks had a chance to try to make a comeback, because they did cut the lead. They were down double digits for the majority of this game. But there was many times they cut this lead in single digits. Yeah. But the Bucks always had a response. And some of that was because of Chris Middleton's shot-making ability.
You said it right there, shot-making ability. He's their team's most reliable player, best player in situations like these because of his ability to create his own shot off the dribble, or even if not off the dribble, off the ball too, because of his shooting ability. You know what I mean? So, to be honest, do I really got to go into detail? This is Chris Middleton we're talking about. You know, we know what he could do because of that, because of his ability to shoot. Again, it opens up the game for him.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Just wish he'd be more consistent with his scoring ability. But his scoring ability is one of the best in the league. I don't think there's no question about that. And last, but certainly not least, we're getting one more key player to this win for this Bucks team. That's Jrue Holiday. You want to talk about someone who brings defense? Someone can also bring the offense. And in this game, he brought the playmaking ability as well. All three sides. Defense, scoring, playmaking. Jrue Holiday was spectacular spectacular last night. 25 and 13. I mean, he was really pushing the ball up the floor. He was really finding open teammates. He was the one that assisted off of Brook Lopez so many times in this game, off of Bobby Porter so many times in this game. I mean, Drew Holiday, not only was he had 13 assists, he was scoring as well. And most of his shots came from inside. I mean, he shot 3-3-pointers. Shot 8 3-pointers, but he only made 3 of them. He made 3 out of 8. Most of his points came from inside the bucket because he was attacking. When he's attacking, he's relentless and he can finish. And he's a great finisher and he's very skilled when he gets to the hole.
Exactly. And you talked about it so many times with Drew Holiday. Again, where he falls into the line of so many players in today's game, right? In terms of that 3-ball is not your style. It's not your style whatsoever. If you're gonna go 101, go ISO ball, you need to know your tendencies and your strengths and weaknesses. You know you're not a good 101 aspect or ISO player from in terms of step back 3. But we know that you're really skilled and really good at getting to the hole and getting the bucket inside the paint or mid-range area. Mid-range to paint area is his. It's all his. That's what he's best at. And I think that's what Drew Holiday did. And just like what you said, pick and roll game worked out so well. He assisted so much on Brook Lopez. Their connection is amazing. But again, he's the point guard. And this is what the Bucks have picked them up to. This is what the Bucks have picked them up to do.
Yeah, this is exactly what it was. That ability to play make, that ability to help take the load off of Giannis, even though I wish they would use that ability more when Giannis is playing.
Yeah.
Try to see Giannis take the ball up the floor. But that ability to ball handle and to play make is the reason why they got it. And the additions that he had in terms of his defense ability that we've talked about in the past and his scoring ability that we saw last night. And Drew Holiday, a very valuable piece to this Bucks team, and he's proven that in this series because he's been great all series long.
Well, he's a star, and if you forget, he was an all-star way back, and there's a reason why he earned that title within the league because of what he could do on both ends.
Yep. So shout out to everybody on this Bucks team: Middleton, Holiday, Portis, Lopez, Tucker, getting the job done in Game 5 in convincing fashion, maintaining a double-digit lead for majority of this game, despite the Hawks. Bogdanovich, Lou Williams, Gallinari, Collins trying to come back into this game. It was to no avail. As the Bucks, no Giannis, beat the Hawks, no Trae Young, and get the series lead. Now up 3-2, heading back to Atlanta. Bucks are 1 win away, going to the NBA Finals. However, Hawks still got a chance. Going back to the ATL, we'll see what happens in Game 6. Speaking of Game 6, since there is no game tomorrow, or tonight, I should say, and there's a game tomorrow, let's just go into predictions for Game 6 on TNT 8:30. Statuses of Giannis and Trae Young obviously will be very, very important. So keep that in mind when you're thinking of your prediction, when you make your prediction job. But nonetheless, who do you have in Game 6?
I put it like this, right? You have 2 teams, no star player, equal balance, equal opportunity. Things got to go well. Now, this is all based on, at this point, whoever got for me, looking at it like that, is all who got the home court advantage. And with this going back into ATL with their fans in the building and stuff, I feel like the Hawks are going to pull out a win and make this a game 7. You already know who I got
Interesting.
winning the series. You already
Interesting.
know who I got winning the
No.
series. But
You said the Bucks will win in 6. Now you're
oh
saying
man,
there will be a
I
game
did say that
7.
right.
You look at you switching it up. But what? You chose to switch up.
Wait,
but why?
wait. But why? Again, I just gave the context right there. Both star
No
players
star
are out.
players. Okay, true.
Both star players are out. And now this is balanced. This is equal. This is fair. This is to see who has the better. Well, who has the better? Because it's equal momentum at this point. Don't get me wrong. Probably the Bucks got the momentum now because they're up 3-2. But this is still great momentum. They're still close to each other. And by the way, this is again home court advantage. The Bucks were on their home floor without their star player. Well, without either star playing for both teams playing. They got their win. Let's see if the Hawks could do what they did when Trae Young wasn't in the game yesterday. I said yesterday. Game 5, in which they put it out on their home floor. Let's see if they could duplicate it again.
Okay, and you was right yesterday. Game 5.
Oh, it was yesterday, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. You know who I got in this series. Hawks. So that means Hawks. Game 6. Need you guys to step up. ATL, stand up. But I think, see you in the A. I think Trae Young is going to play. I think that's not. I don't have any sources. I don't have rules. I think Trae Young is going to play, and I think that Giannis, if he even is going to play for the rest of the series, it might be in the game 7.
Yeah.
So, but also,
it is. Yeah, my bad. Go on. I'm sorry.
I was gonna say, but also, yeah, like you said, that home court is key. It's very key, especially when you don't have your best player.
Yeah.
Got to thrive off that, especially with these young players in the Hawks team.
Exactly, and they can take advantage. And and just like what you bring up, the severity of the injuries, man. Don't get me wrong; they're both severe, but you're talking about a whole knee compared to ankle, right? You know, this is both are no joke, but I think the focus on the knee is more severe than how it is the ankle, really, in my personal opinion. So, and both are lower body injuries. You got to be highly aware about those things. So, I feel like Giannis, just like what you said, Giannis is probably not going to be back a while. But again, this is all based on home court for me.
Yep, I see your point, and I got rolling with the Hawks as well. I think there will be a game 7. Last time we mentioned, I mentioned there will be a game 7. That didn't go so well for me. So, but hey, well, we'll see what happens. Saturday, tomorrow, game 6. Bucks win this game, they advance to the NBA Finals. Hawks win this game, they force a game 7 in war. All right, Ja. Let's now wrap things up. Any final thoughts?
Yeah, it's crazy. Just talking about the injuries. There's so many injuries, man. Like I don't think this has ever been a postseason. Well, I know there's a lot of like I don't think like this postseason like is really the only time I can remember with like hearing about so much injuries going on.
Yeah.
Like I really haven't heard of this much. Like you talk about injuries just having an effect. Like it's like most of the teams that you expect that we thought would make it haven't made it because of the simple fact of main thing injuries. Not saying that it was going to go like that. Not saying it was going to go like that. But when you look at the fact that those players or whatsoever from those teams suffered injuries and have kept them back, it leaves a telling right there, man. It's just tough. The season has been tough in terms of injuries this postseason. I don't think I ever heard of postseason way worse for injuries. You all right?
I'm good. I was just thinking about all the injuries that's been happening this postseason.
Yeah.
I'm going back with AD on to Chris Paul, even though he got better. Well, Jaylen Brown and Jamal Murray were already out before, but Kawhi Leonard, Donovan was playing hurt.
Joel
Embiid was playing hurt, and now Giannis and Trey. I mean, it's just like I said, injuries suck, but an unfortunate part of a game that you got to work your way around and try to figure out.
And look at that's how many injuries there were because you didn't even bring up Kyrie or Harden.
Yeah, I just completely forgot.
See,
I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy, but hey, injuries, they're not gonna stop the game for injuries. They're not gonna stop the season for injuries. You just got to keep playing on. And if they would do that, they would keep stopping every season.
Yep.
We'll never see another championship.
Good.
But yeah, you just gotta unfortunately play on. Show them what's going on. You gotta play. You gotta play basketball. You gotta see if you can win. And that's what Atlanta and Milwaukee's gonna have to do Saturday.
Yep.
So with that being said, thank you guys for watching today's podcast. No podcast tomorrow tomorrow because there's no game tonight because Suns are already in the finals, waiting for the Milwaukee Hawks series to end. So no game tonight, which means no podcast tomorrow. We'll be back 2 days from now on Sunday, right? That is the right time, Sunday. So be there for Sunday's podcast. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, comment, support the channel, give us feedback, all that good stuff.
And also follow IG and our TikTok down in the description below.
Yes, and of course, once again, I'm Evan.
I'm Ja.
This My Basketball Podcast.
Conference finals still going on edition.
What he said.